All right, today, you guys, is day 24. So we are looking at just one lesson today. Lesson 71, finding the whole group when a fraction is known. We've seen a lot of these word problems. 3/5 of the fish in the pond are bluegills. If there are 45 bluegills in the pond, how many of the fish are in the pond? So 3/5, we can use that to break it apart into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups. Okay. If there's 45 bluegills in the pond, how many of the fish are in the pond? So 3 of the fifths added up to 45. So 3 tells us 15, 15, 15, because 3 times 15 is 45. Not bluegills would be the other 15 and 15, or we would have 2/5, and we use that to work backwards to find how many there are. So this would be 15 times 5. There would be 75 in all. And again, this is more for kind of visually. If you're good at breaking this up and drawing, we can also just set it up into an equation and say, so I'll show you how I would do it. Let's look at this one. We'll do it two different ways. So when Juan finished page 51, he used 3/8. Okay, so we know we're going to have 8 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 3 of the 8s was 51. So 51 divided by 3 is 17. That tells us we have 8 groups and there's 17 pages in each group. So here's 3/8 of the way through the book. His book had how many pages? So then we have 17 plus 17 plus 17, or 17 times 8, which is 136 pages. So how I would set this up, so 51 is 3/8 of what number? So multiplication, that's what we could do. So then we divide by 3/8. Since we're multiplying here, that's the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. We get 8 times 17, 136. So that is the number we're looking for. So I would just set it up in an equation, because drawing out, 8 groups isn't bad, but if we have 50 groups or something like that, we're going to have to draw all 50 groups and then fill in how many parts are in each group, which again may take a little bit of time. So we can set up just an equation, solve for the unknown like we've been doing all year, or we can use this method. No right or wrong. I know some people are more visual than me and this works great for them. So by all means, then go ahead and do that. So again, this denominator tells us how many groups we have, and how we figure out how many are in each group. Well, in this case, it was 3 of the 8 added up to 51. So we did 51 divided by 3, which told us there's 17 in each group. And as we said, we can set it up in an equation and solve it. So that's the way we just did it. I called it what number instead of p, but you can use x, p, whatever you want to. 3/8 times the number of pages equals 51. Okay. We divide by 3/8, so that's the same as multiplying by 8 over 3. Not cross multiply, we multiply by the reciprocal, and we do that to the left and the right, and we get 136. So again, this is probably how I would do it, but this is not wrong either. Both work out to be the same thing. So if one feels more comfortable right now, then I would definitely use that. Get to where you can use either one. Not bad to have more than one way to go about solving something. All right, as Sakura went from room to room, she found that 3/5 of the lights were on and that 30 lights were off. How many of the lights were on? So 3/5 were on, okay, and 2/5 were off. So 2/5, again, this one's a little tricky because we're told 3/5 were on and 30 actual lights were off. So how many lights were on? So 2/5, if 3/5 were on, 2/5 were off. At 2/5 was 30 lights, so 30 divided by 2 is 15. So that's where we get that 15 and 15. So we know each group, each fifth has 15 in it. So if we want to know how many we're on, 3/5 we're on, well, that's 15 times 3, which is 45 lights we're on. If we knew 3/5 we're on, so 2/5 we're off, so 2/5 So 2/5 of the number of lights we're on worth 30s, then we times 5, the number of lights was 75, 30 we're on, we could do 75 minus 30 to figure out how many we're not on. That would be 45, which is what we found using this method as well. So again, setting up your groups, the denominator tells you how many groups you have. Based on the question, the numerator, in this case, we were given 3/5 were on, and then we're told 30 lights were on. So we had to say, okay, well, if 3/5 are off, then 2/5 must be on, or sorry, opposite. 3/5 were on, so 2/5 must be off. So we know that that was 30 divided by 2 means that there's 15 in each group, and the denominator tells us that there's 5 groups, and then we use that to figure out what's being asked. So just read it. Even this one, as I read through it the second time, it kind of tripped me up. Just make sure you know what's being asked of you. Use the denominator to find the number of groups, the numerator to figure out how many are in each group, and then from there you should be able to solve. All right, we'll go over these practice problems in class. That is all we have. We'll see you guys in a couple days.